Good evening, ma'am. Myself, Shalini Mudliar.
And I'm Shruti Belose.
We are host for the session. So we are here for the CAP Conversation Series 2021 organized by CAP India. I am honored to welcome our guest Dr. Medha Tatpatrikar, also known as the Plastic Warrior, who is the co-founder and director of Rudra Environmental Solution, logging in from Bhumi. Dr. Medha is a serial entrepreneur, director Mantra Research and Consultant Private Limited, Phoenix General Insurance Broker Private Limited, and Rudra Environmental Solution India Limited. With the educational background of science, law, and management, she calls herself as an accidental environmentalist because the cause founder. So good to you have, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Ma'am, requesting you to introduce yourself and brief about Rudra.
Hi, I'm Dr. Medha Tatpatrikar. As Shalini has mentioned, I'm an accidental environmentalist. So I'm actually the director of Rudra and a founder trustee of Keshav Sita Memorial Foundation Trust. Through the trust, we create awareness of plastic segregation at source, and also we do the collection from various households. And at the same time, through Rudra, we have developed a technology where we convert waste plastic into usable, as well as we use the plastic and the char into the roads. So it actually, we work on the plastic waste, and we are just trying to help the environment as best as we can through the innovation as well as through the awareness. Thank you.
So good to hear, ma'am. So coming to our very first question, what inspired you to start this organization and with what objectives did Rudra Environmental Solutions started?
Basically, it started without any focus or without anything. We never thought we will find the solution. Me and my co-founder Shirish, we had gone to one of the wildlife sanctuaries, and there we saw a deer killed. And as all of us think that, oh, isn't that bad? Such a lovely animal. And then they found that the deer has been killed because there was plastic wrappers inside the body. They found in a post-mortem. And it was more horrific, because people just like you and me go to wildlife sanctuaries, and people just like you and me throw the wrappers and everything after we finish eating something. So when we came back, it was always like, oh, somebody needs to do something about it. Why don't somebody else does it? Because, we always think it should be somebody else who should be doing it. And I think after a couple of months, we both looked at each other and said, we are exactly like everyone. We are not doing, we are just talking. At least let's find out what plastic is. And our journey began because we have been working in Mantra, which is a market research organization, consultancy. We knew, who to ask. We knew, what questions to ask. So we just invited a lot of engineers, lot of chemical engineers, polymer engineers to just come and talk to us and tell us about plastic. Because, I realized that we have learned about plastic in our school days, but as we grow old and, we build a career, we don't think about waste. And plastic was the same thing. So when we realized that plastic is a fossil fuel, made from fossil fuel, it takes minimum 500 to 1,000 years for it to be, disintegrate naturally, and nobody has seen it. So we said, okay, let's at least see what else can be done. So we first burned the plastic, we put it in a pan, it got burned. Then, I don't know whose idea it was. Then we put it in a pressure cooker and it blew. And actually the idea was so simple because we have seen a piece of ice melt. And the idea was if the water turns to ice, ice turns to water. can we do exactly the same? So we did a lot of experiment. We managed to succeed hydrocarbons from our, like this pressure cooker kind of a contraption. And then we decided, let's build a machine. So we built a machine in 2010, and we were the first one in India. So there was a lot of interest into this technology, and we had no idea because despite being engineers, we had managed to successfully convert waste plastic into fuel. And somebody came to us and said, well, you know, you are emitting the gases. So we scrapped everything, and it took us almost 2 years to build a new machine. And we since then we have been working on waste plastic.
So good to hear, ma'am. So coming to our very first question, what inspired you to start this organization and with what objectives did Rudra Environmental Solutions started?
Initial years were quite challenging because basically, not having the design, no idea. So the first machine when we built, we literally built a bigger pressure cooker kind of a thing. Had success. So Shirish used to draw on a piece of paper. Engineer used to convert it into kind of an jargon, line and everything, and that's how we started. And like I was saying that when somebody came, it was a scientist, and he said, you are emitting the gases. We had to scrap the machine because we said we are doing something good and we can't harm the environment in that. So let's scrap it. And it took us 2 years to understand what kind of gases come out, what their composition is, how they can be used. We had no background, no ideas. It was just we finding all information, doing a lot of research. First time gives you any kind of loans or anything when you're doing something, people used to choose that were crazy. They still do, but I think that has reduced a little bit. But it was quite tough. We never realized it was when we look back at it, because I think we were very focused to find a solution, because we thought, hey, if we have come this way, why can't we go 2 steps ahead? And I think that is what has kept us going almost now. It's 11 years now.
So, ma'am, could you please share your initial years of the journey?
Initial years were quite challenging because basically, not having the design, no idea. So the first machine when we built, we literally built a bigger pressure cooker kind of a thing. Had success. So Shirish used to draw on a piece of paper. Engineer used to convert it into kind of an jargon, line and everything, and that's how we started. And like I was saying that when somebody came, it was a scientist, and he said, you are emitting the gases. We had to scrap the machine because we said we are doing something good and we can't harm the environment in that. So let's scrap it. And it took us 2 years to understand what kind of gases come out, what their composition is, how they can be used. We had no background, no ideas. It was just we finding all information, doing a lot of research. First time gives you any kind of loans or anything when you're doing something, people used to choose that were crazy. They still do, but I think that has reduced a little bit. But it was quite tough. We never realized it was when we look back at it, because I think we were very focused to find a solution, because we thought, hey, if we have come this way, why can't we go 2 steps ahead? And I think that is what has kept us going almost now. It's 11 years now.
Yeah, that was quite challenging. And it is truly said, some That's pretty good. Moving on to our next question. How would you describe your company with today's version of technology if you were a startup company and not a company with long history?
Where that there is a lot of innovation is happening, and if you look at Rudra, we are also trying to improve every day. So we have not stopped. So we have tied up with a research organization, premier institutes, because innovation should not stop, and that's what I think we are, because there is something else. We can always look at the problem with a still fresher outlook. So if you look at our journey, our things, we are every day trying to improve on designs. We are still trying to improve on the quality of the fuel. We're still trying to improve, how we can make it more, safety. So I think it never stops, and it should not stop. And from then, I think we have started to look at what else can be done with the plastic. So we are also working on making roads with plastic. We're also working with a plastic mixed tiles. And we're also trying to find another ways where we can use the plastic, because remember one thing, the amount of plastic we generate and the amount of technologies available are, it's a huge gap. So I believe that, unless and until we try to improve, businesses goes out of business. And if you're a startup today, I think we should also look at the what are the problems, because I think waste management is a sector which is very exciting and which is never going to go out of business. Because one thing is for sure, that we are always going to create waste, more waste, more waste. So I think
That's amazing. Moving on to our next question. What were the biggest challenges you faced?
with plastic. We're also working with a plastic mixed tiles. And we're also trying to find another ways where we can use the plastic. Because remember one thing, the amount of plastic we generate and the amount of technologies available are, it's a huge gap. So I believe that, unless and until we try to improve, businesses goes out of business. And if you're a startup today, I think we should also look at the what are the problems, because I think waste management is a sector which is very exciting and which is never going to go out of business. Because one thing is for sure, that we are always going to create waste, more waste, more waste. So I think even though we are 10-year-old company, we still look at ourselves as a startup where we still have to prove ourselves. So that keeps us going.
Yes, ma'am. You rightly said that the recycling industry will never stop. Okay.
Yeah.
We would like to know that what were the biggest challenge you faced?
Wow. I think looking at back, it wasn't more of a challenge. It was like, okay, we have a problem. We just need to sort it. And thankfully, Shirish and myself, we have never been like, okay, we don't have money, so let's scrap it. It wasn't ever like that. And he is a cost accountant. So when we built a second machine, he said, well, we need to make sure this is financially viable. We know it is socially viable, we know environmentally viable, but we need to understand that it is financially viable. Because if the technology is not financially viable, it becomes a hobby. That's how we believed. So, going from the idea to, building a machine and proving that, it can be run, it can be useful, it took us a long time. We started in 2009, the company, and we sold our first machine in 2007 when we knew, so all kind of, uh, all kind of experiments, various things we have done ourselves in our own factory. We never said, okay, let's, somebody else do it. We have successfully managed it, and let's go out in the, we said, no, we need to understand what are the problems that come, what happens, how we can improve the process. So it took us a long time. I think, again, I said, a lot of people think that we are crazy, but I think to be successful in a different industry, you just have to be a little bit, nuts in a way, I believe. So that, and then, a little bit of money. So we were earning from, thankfully, we had another businesses. So we were we were earning from there. We were putting everything into machine, Rudra. And that is the same time we started creating awareness from 2013-14 and collection. So everything cost money, and it was everything from our own pockets. So I believe those were the challenges. But when I look at it today, I think they weren't challenges at all. They were just obstacles, I guess.
That's really motivating, ma'am. So, ma'am, on an average, how much plastic waste does Rudra solution convert into polyfuel?
Coming to the next question, on an average, how much plastic waste does Rudra solution convert into polyfuel every year?
Okay, so we actually do 3 different things. We convert it into fuel. So around 200 to 300 tons of plastic waste is converted into fuel. We also give around 8 to 900 tons or maybe more for the roads. And we're also doing it around, 100, couple of hundreds for the tiles as well. Basically, what happens with the fuel is our focus is on a traditionally non-recyclable plastic, so which is wrappers, packaging material. Collection of that becomes a huge. So we don't have the huge capacity machines, because after working on this, we realized that decentralized is the way to go. You shouldn't have a bigger machine. So we have just installed a new machine in one of the near Mumbai. So from next year onwards, I think we will be converting more plastic into fuel.
It is really a huge amount, ma'am. Coming to our next question, what do you do with the obtained fuel?
We actually sell it, because to be in the business, we need some income. So we have 2 streams, where one is we sell the machines, and secondly, we sell the fuel. Now, this fuel can be used for generators, furnace, incinerator, burner, boiler, trawlers, or it can actually use instead of a kerosene. So we have tied up with few villages where we give this at a discounted rate to the rural women, so they can use it in the their stoves. Otherwise, the businesses use it in their burners, boilers.
Moving on to our next question. It is observed your solutions are quite expensive compared to other methods of dealing with plastic waste. For the waste solution to be sustainable, they need to be profitable. How did you manage to stay in the business for all these long years with high capex value?
Actually, it is not expensive. A lot of people think that plastic to fuel is an expensive technology. It's not, because end of the day, you are getting the value addition in terms of fuel, so which you can sell. You also get a char in that, which you can again sell for the roads. So, for the smaller, the ROI is around 3.5 years. So it is financially viable. Because we were doing something, I remember first 8 years, 9 years, we did not take anything from the, we did not earn anything personally from the Rudra. We were putting everything in. And I guess just because I think once, a cause chooses you, you just can't leave it. I think we both are like that once you've taken on something, you just don't leave it. And thankfully in 2018, we received the foreign funding, and then things became much more easier afterwards.
What are the socio-economic and environmental impacts made by Rudra?
Rudra, along with Keshav Sita, its NGO partners, I think in 7.5 years, we have collected more than, I think, 3,500 metric tons. So it is around 30. So the impact is more because for each 1 kilo of plastic that we can save is a 6 kilogram of carbon dioxide emission saved. Because, to example, more than 35,000 households, we collect. So everybody's habit has been, changed. So around 1.5 lakh people, if we just think about Pune, have changed their habit of throwing plastic in the bin. They actually segregate and give it plastic to us. So, that impact is huge because people, speak to other people and they try to get them to be a plastic warrior. I think that impact is more important because, all in this, it's not a plastic that is bad. Plastic is a brilliant product. It has helped. It has become, it is like a backbone of a retail revolution. But our habits are bad. So, that has helped us, change people's habit. So, nobody now throws plastic on the road. We make sure that it doesn't go into the landfill. We have saved that much. Economically, we have been able to help a lot of women who do the segregation or who do the collection, through our NGO and everything. And with the economically, I think, we convert it into usable. So whatever was left on the landfill is now gets converted into fossil fuel again, sort of hydrocarbons again. So if you look, it actually covers all three, triple bottom kind of a thing: social, economical, and environmental.
So coming to our next question, have you collaborated with other similar organizations?
Yes, because see, it's not a work of a one. It's even though we are in the business of making money, we are a social enterprise, so our aim is to create a more social impact and create that people should also see plastic waste as a resource rather than just throwing. So I believe that when you look at like this, the focus is on everything. So it's not just making money. So we are also thinking, and we have tied up with various NGOs in various cities to create awareness, because for any innovation, you can have a brilliant innovation, but if it is not supported by the community involvement or the segregation at source, the cost becomes too high, for the recycling, and then nobody wants to do it. Like Shalini was saying, is this the expensive? See, any innovation or any technology becomes expensive because if you have to segregate, the cost of segregation becomes a huge. So if it is done in the household where the waste is generated, it becomes easier, and our focus is on that as well. So yes, we have tied up with various organizations across the country as well.
Could you name
Yes.
some of the organizations or NGOs that you have tied up with?
Yeah, we have a Sankalpa in Lucknow. We have Urja in Mumbai. There are a couple of other, these are the people I've worked with few years ago, and we have quite a few number, where we work with the individuals as well. So we have people in Bangalore, Hyderabad, even Jammu Kashmir, where we are creating awareness. They may not be through NGO, but lot of individuals also we connect.
That's truly inspiring, ma'am. We would like to hear what are your growth metrics for the next 5 years down the line?
plastic is a problem not only of India, it is a problem of the world. And this year we will be installing our first machine in the Europe. So I think the next 5 years we will be looking at expanding it in India as well as expanding worldwide, because there is a lot of interest in this technology from America, Europe, as well as African countries. So 5 years going to be very exciting for us.
That's amazing. We would love to see Rudra reaching great heights 5 years down the line. Moving on to our next question. Are you planning to expand Rudra? If yes, then which cities would you choose to expand Rudra?
We actually are trying to expand, but cost a lot of money. And first we are trying to create an awareness in various cities. So this year it's going to be, we have identified 3 places, and that we have already started creating a little bit of awareness. With COVID, unfortunately things have taken a step back, and but we have started something in Mumbai. We will be start something in Delhi and one of the cities in South India. So we cover, almost all parts of the country, kind of a thing.
What resources or collaboration do you require to expand Rudra?
This is we have things from the research organization, educational organization for the upgradation, or we need a couple of research into the fuel, what else can be done. So the research organization, at the same time, the CSR funding, through which we can put up smaller machines in various village clusters, where it can help the villages and that area, because our focus is rural as well as the urban bodies. So I think that, and a lot of brain power and lot of people with the focused with the passion and the good team, I think that is what we require to expand.
Ma'am. Coming to our next question, on what scale has the plastic waste problem reduced after implementing this initiative?
It has reduced quite a bit. I always get people saying, "Oh, it used to be, it's much more cleaner. My area is much more cleaner now." So that way is a one way of looking at this. But if we look at the COVID, it was just some of the numbers were published a couple of days ago, and it said that India, we have produced more than 10 lakhs metric tons of plastic in a 1 year, which is, that's an addition of whatever we use. Because since the COVID, a lot of plastic is used to safeguard all of us. A lot of people have been, working from home. So getting everything from, ordering everything. So plastic is accumulating. So whatever, impact we had created, maybe it has taken a blow in last year and a half. But hey, look, it has been, it's a brilliant product. And more plastic means we can reach more people, and we can implement this in a different way. And hopefully, because one thing has also happened is become more aware of the problem. So we see that, I just can give you an example. In last 3 months only, we have added more than 150 societies, who wants to join only in Pune. And that's a huge number. It's like, instead of we going, people are aware. So even though, as a whole, everywhere the world over, the plastic waste accumulation has increased, but I think a lot of solutions are coming as well. So hopefully in the future, we can make impact. And
In this pandemic, large amount of plastic has been generated. How has that affected your business and what strategies have you implanted to tackle it?
just started talking to more people. We just started collection for more ways. It takes around 3 to 6 months if you want to install a plant, and before that, getting a land and everything. So it's not a very fast process where we say, okay, let's put a machine somewhere. We are actually working on a machine where it can be moved, but again, it's still making a machine from scratch takes a time. And quite recently, getting the raw material was also a problem. But we have adopted a different SOPs where we are collected plastic is getting sanitized, and we are doing a various ways. But I think this is also is an opportunity. When there is a more plastic, it means we have more opportunity. People are more aware, and the government is also doing its lot of things to help the plastic waste management with the new rules, regulations, EPR coming. So I think collectively things are working. A lot of associations are working together, and I think we didn't have to change too much of our strategies. We just needed to tweak it. But I think it just means that more opportunities. That's the way I look at it.
That's
Moving on to good evening, ma'am. Myself, Shalini Mudliya, your company with today's version. Good evening, ma'am. Myself, Shalini Mudliya, even in not a company with long history. Good evening, ma'am. Myself.
What I learned from my mom and grandmother, they were both very strong women, had a lot of influence on my life. And one thing they said, that in life you're always going to have problems, you're always going to be obstacles, but you just have to get on with life. You just don't say I've given up. You just carry on. I think that has helped even during this time, because we couldn't do last year a lot of things collection wise. Few months we had to shut it because shut. But then we started helping the police with the distributing sanitizers, masks. We also did help citizens with organizing the vegetable markets, because you were not getting vegetables, and the farmers. So you just have to look at the problem, and you can see problem. And if you really want to do something, you can. Right now, we are working on how we can help, because there is a flood, as you know, in Maharashtra right now. And a lot of people have, have lost everything in their house. They don't even have clothes to change. So right now we are working to what can be sent to those people. So I think there are always going to be challenges, and there are always going to people we can help. And I think the focus is.
That's pretty inspiring. Moving on to our next question. What was the collection strategy during lockdown? Did you observe reduction in the amount of plastic waste collected?
We did the SOP. So we wanted our team members to be safe and not get anything. So we actually created a lot of awareness among people that they should disinfect the waste. If somebody is got a COVID, they should not throw that in the plastic. It should go to the regular ULBs. They were collecting differently. And we also, bought disinfected machine. So anytime our team used to go, they used to disinfect. All the team members had all the safety gear and everything. I know it was difficult because, you get hot, sweaty, and the tendency is to leave it. But, we did make sure that our team was safe. And we also followed all the rules and regulation of lockdown and everything. Even today in Pune, everything shuts down at 4. So our teams is going early in the morning for a collection. So by the time 4, half 4, they have finished the collection. And actually, we've seen the increase in the wrapping, packaging, because when people are at home, it becomes, like you need to buy things, and you will always buy things which are in a plastic bag. So we found that packaging has increased. But at the same time, we realized that the plastic that was coming from offices, hotels was less because everything was shut. So yeah, that was an observation, and we found that wrapping or biscuit wrappers and all kind, that has increased quite a bit. And but we have also seen that it is reducing a little bit now. But last 6 and 7 months, it was quite a bit, where we could see the difference in the weight and the amount of plastic we were collecting.
So ma'am, coming to our next question, what are your insights on the growth of the Indian plastic recycling industry?
One is a mechanical recycling, where plastic is, thick plastic or certain type of plastic is converted into the granules, and the granules are remade into plastic. In India, there are huge amount of, this kind of industries, but out of that, many are informal, they are not registered. So even though we have that, because as a India, if you look at it, the amount of plastic we use per person per year is hardly 11 to 12 kilos. While if you look at the PET, PET bottles, water bottle, recycling is more than 90%. So worldwide, the recycling rate of all type of plastic is 9%, while I think in India it's more than 52%. So if you look at us as a recyclers, we have a good opportunity. People are doing it, but there is no kind of regulations what kind of a plastic goes into it. So you're not sure where the waste has come from. There is no transparency. You can't actually traceability. So you don't know where it is coming from. So unless until that things are taken care of, and lot of now businesses are coming who are doing online, who have apps, doing various other things, coming out with other kind of recycling. So I think, as a recycling industry in India has got a good and tremendous amount of, what do you say? For the next 5 years, I think they will do good. So as an industry itself, it's got a good growth coming in next few years. But the government is also doing their bit in bringing all this informal into making them a formal registered recyclers.
That's interesting, ma'am. Do you think banning plastic is an effective strategy?
No. See, the more you ban, people try to always find different ways to beat. So I think, was it Indonesia or somewhere, they tried to do it for 3 months, where they put a lot of they give a penalty to the people who were using the plastic. After 3 months, they found not many people were ready. Even in same thing, you can't ban. Plastic is everywhere. Unless and until we find a replacement which is as good as plastic, which is more cost effective, plastic won't get banned. The good idea is banning single-use plastic. But again, biscuit wrappers or, packaging is also single-use. So, the focus of a single-use plastic ban is with only few products like straws, which is a good thing. But I believe that creating the awareness, making people aware, newer generation, because we have seen that in schools, when we go and tell people, kids, that look, you need to segregate, and they have a more impact on the family, and they bring the plastic in the school and we collect it from there. So what we have seen, we need to educate people as well, that we need to change our habits as well. So we just can't say ban it. Now look at your glasses, they're plastic. Now, you can't go back to glass. Unfortunately, a lot of people are saying, let's use paper. Actually, plastic was discovered as a replacement for paper, because for the paper to produce, you not only need the trees, you also need lot of water and lot of energy. So I hope we don't go back to using lot of paper, but make sure that all kind of a plastic that is used gets recycled. So we don't need to create more and more new plastic. And things are happening. Various companies are doing a lot of innovation. Instead of making multi-layered, they're looking at it whether they can do the mono-layer, single kind of plastic. There are other things where even for the food, the governments are saying that you can use recycled plastic. So a lot of things are happening.
By which year do you believe India will be significantly free from plastic waste and have a robust waste management system?
Difficult question to answer, really, because a lot of plastic is already in our landfills. It is in our nature. So how do you reduce that? But a lot of because it's a dumps. It's not a scientific landfill. No, it is dumps. But many ULBs are now working to clear those dumps, which is a good thing. I'll give you the numbers. In last 40 years, we as a world have used more than 9 billion metric tons of plastic and created a plastic waste. Out of that, only 9 or 10% has been recycled. So everything is still lying in our ocean. So basically, when we are saying that, we need to make sure we don't dump into the waste on the roadside, waste in our waterways. So we all have to change. I think it will take at least 10 to 12 years. So until we see the significant change, because it takes time, habits don't change, like overnight. It takes time. But I guess newer generation is much more smart. Newer generation is much more cued in, and newer generation cares for the nature. And I think that is what is going to help us as a country to make an impact, make change, and show it to world, yes, we can also do it.
Moving on to our next question. What would you like to advise to all those who wish to do similar in their respective local community, and what are the steps to be followed?
Change ourselves. So, a lot of people want to tell everybody else how to do it, and they don't do it in their household. So I think change starts from us. So we need to change. And even if we can, change our family and neighbors, it is going to have a kind of a snowball effect. So just start talking to people. First thing is, again, I said education. So if anybody wants to do it, start talking to people, start connecting with your local NGOs, start connecting with your local recyclers to see where, waste goes. Nobody actually studies the journey of waste, So when you create, what happens to it? When somebody picks up, where does it go? So, and please, if you can go and see the local landfill or local dump yard, that will open your eyes, because then you will see how smelly it is, how bad our habits are when we just put wet garbage in a plastic bag and throw it. And when you see the animals eating it. So I think, and please do, let's start the conversation, because that's where the change is going to come. So if you want to do it, and then, you can connect to people like us, you can connect to the local NGOs, And I think together, if we have a community of larger amount of people, I think we can make the difference and we can make that impact more faster than the later.
Very true, ma'am. We are done with our questions and must say, ma'am, it was really an interesting session. Thank you for sparing your valuable time. It was pretty inspiring hearing you and might influence many other people that they think are opportunities in recycling sector as well. And a little effort can put plastic in a productive use. And wishing you all the very best, ma'am, for your future endeavors. Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much for inviting me today, and it was fun. And thank you very much.